Okay, so today is, let's call it chapter 1, and we're going to call it My Mom Talks to Dead People. And I'll explain what I mean by that a little bit later on. But at first I want to start by saying, I had this epiphany while I was away, and then yesterday I put it into motion, and last night I'm tossing and turning in bed and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, where am I even going to start? I didn't really think that part through. And even though I have these books that have been, thoughts have been jotted down and pages have been written, I don't want to sit here and read to you. That's not where I'm going with this. And I thought, well, I said I was going to start tomorrow, so here I am. I'm not sure where this recording is going to take us, but I am going to start with it being called My Mom Talks to Dead People. You'll understand why, I promise. And I also want to be very honest with you. This is a new thing for me, this whole recording and sitting here in my office. Clearly my desk is behind me with all my angels and my paperwork. So if it's a little bit choppy or not smooth, not edited, because it's not going to be edited, it's because that's the true authentic Kelly that I want you to see, the real raw Kelly. And I think that it's important that you see me with my hair in a messy ponytail with a hoodie on, because it is 8,000 minus degrees outside with a ton of snow. I think it's important you see that part of me. So I also want to start this one by explaining kind of why I decided to do an audio video book style. I'd written a lot of things and I sent them to an editor, a friend of mine, and he said to me, Kelly, this book is amazing. It's fabulous. Your ideas are great. Your writing is great. So long as the person who's reading it knows you. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, you write like you talk. And for any of you that know me, know that I have this uncanny ability to not stay on task. So when I'm writing, I just write. Thoughts, whatever's coming to me, I'm just writing. And he said, I wouldn't even know where to chapter this book. He says, you could publish this and put it on a shelf, but if people don't know you, they're going to think you're a bit crazy. And I always jokingly say now, I'm not crazy. I am vivacious. There is a difference. But then I kind of understood what he was saying, because I am unable to hold one thought. Because not only is my mind going, my soul is going, spirit is showing up, energies are appearing. And so, I bounce a bit. And, I was always that kid that talked too much in class. It's because I don't like being quiet. So if you ever come to my home, there's always music or people talking, or, I always have some background noise. And not that I can't sit in quiet. That's not what I'm saying. The noise that's quiet for me. Sitting silently, it's never silent. And so often, when he told me this, not staying on task. So when he told me this, I then got in my head a bit, okay, you can't be a writer. But then I kept going back to the book thing, kept going back. And then I had this epiphany while I was away. So I don't want this to be a chapter book. I don't want to read anything to you. I might read, some like quotes or something that I have found or something like that. But I'm not going to sit here and read the book that I have written. So today's chapter, my very first vlog, official vlog, by the way, YouTube, got a YouTube channel. Go make a follow. I think it's a subscription. I'm learning as I go. But yeah. So anyways, so today I said I wanted to call it My Mom Talks to Dead People. And it's kind of going to just take you through where I switch from being in a different profession to being in this profession full time. I was raised like this. I was born like this. I have never known anything different. I will get to my childhood later. Now, when I had my son in 2007, I was a dance teacher, often worked in restaurants. I always had lots and lots of jobs. And at one point I decided, you know what, I felt like I was always missing something. I needed something bigger, needed to go get something bigger, needed to change the world. I needed to influence more. I don't know what I needed. I felt like I was missing something. So in 2008, I decided to quit teaching dance, and I put myself into hair school. And while I was in hair school, I was bartending and, doing those kinds of things. And I fast-tracked hair school, became a hairstylist. I was working in a salon, and I'm working with these people, and I always have different clients in my chair. And I built this beautiful clientele, who most of them I still keep in touch with and love dearly, and I'm very thankful for their support, their continued support of me in regards to my journey. But people would come to me and then they would leave, and then they would come back the next time and they would request me. And so that's how I built my clientele. And sometimes people would say to me, Kelly, I just feel different when I am in your chair. And I always knew I had this ability to make people laugh or bring them peace. People used to say, my family used to say I could flip a room, and those weren't the words that they used, but I had the ability. If Kelly was in a bad mood, the whole world was in a bad mood. If Kelly was in a good mood, she can flip a room. Anybody who was in a bad mood all of a sudden becomes in a good mood. At the time growing up, I didn't understand what that was. I'll explain when I learned what that was, but now I try and focus and stay pretty positive so that when I am in a room, I don't flip it to the negative. I think that we have enough negativity in our world today. We don't need to add any more. So anyway, I am hairdressing, and it's my son and and when he was about 4, so 2011-ish, maybe 2010, I had a client come in and sit in my chair, and her name was Carol. She became a very good friend of mine. She's also a medium. And she said to me, I want to read you. And I said, I don't know what that means. So she explained it to me. I knew what I did, but we all do things differently. As mediums, none of us are two of the same. Some of us read energy, some of us read colors, some of us read spirit. It all comes from the same place. It's a different realm, it's a different energy, it's a different universe, for lack of a better word. So she said, I want to read you. So I went to her house and I had a reading, and she said to me, Kelly, you are a very gifted human being. And she said, you've been sent here to change the world. And I said, it's funny you say that. I've always felt like I wanted to change the world. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. And she said, one day you're going to change the world. And to this day, I believe that one person, one soul, one heart, one life at a time. If I can change that world, that means I've changed the world. Whether it's just their view of the world or to bring someone peace. And every day I'm so thankful and so very blessed for my gift, and that God chose me. You'll hear me refer to God as my maker. You'll hear me refer to him as God. You'll hear me refer to him as the universe. I do not want to get into a religious conversation. What I will tell you is I was brought up Catholic. I have one God, and I am thankful to him every day. But I refer to him as many different things because I feel that it is important that I don't base my gift around a religious aspect, if that makes sense. So she says this to me, you're going to change the world. Back to that thought. And so she told me a bunch of things that I needed to hear. And she said, why aren't you using your gift? And I said, because I don't feel like I will be accepted. And I said, I don't know that I'll be accepted from society as a whole, if I'd be accepted from my family, who always knew I was different, or if I would be accepted from my friends, or if I would be accepted and from anybody. And what I realized was, in that moment, I didn't know that I could accept, put out, be authentic and true to myself, and actually say, this is who you are, and that is okay. And it doesn't matter whether other people accept you, because you accept you. So at the time, I just said to her, well, I just do it differently. And, I do it through clients, through hair, or through kids, through dance, or what have you. And she said, but you're not being true to who you are. And I said, well, I feel like I am. Just because I'm not an open medium doesn't mean that I'm not still doing spiritual work. And she said to me, what are you teaching your son? Well, anytime you bring Parker Keith into the mix, I get it. And what I was teaching my son was, don't be true to who you are. Don't accept who you are, and allow society to label you and tell you who you should be. And in that moment, it was an aha moment, and I thank her also daily in my gratitude journal for opening my eyes and bringing my son into it. Because had she just said that to me, you don't accept yourself and I wouldn't have heard her. But the second, like I say, you bring Parker Keith into it, he is my world. I breathe, sleep, eat, work, do everything I do for that boy. And every part of me wanted him to be able to say, you know what, I'm okay with who I am. Or like with who he is. And so we chatted, Parker and I. We've always had a very open relationship, even at a very young age. I always talked to him as if he was a peer rather than a child. And sometimes that comes back to bite me in the ass, and sometimes it all works out. So anyways, so I decided, okay, I'm going to try that. I'm going to do this. So I sat in prayer and meditation, and I just said, if this is my path, if this is my journey, and this is where my soul is supposed to go and my spirit is supposed to do, please just allow it to be clear and allow it to just present itself. So I don't have to fish for it. I didn't know how to start it. And, opportunities started presenting themselves, and people would come into my world and be presented to me in my hair chair, because I was still a hairdresser at the time, that were Reiki, or, they were healers, naturopaths, people like that, people much like myself. And so I just started building this tribe, I guess we could say. These people would support me. They would understand me. We could talk openly about what I do. And I started to just be like, you know what? Maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. And so I started doing readings in the midst of everything else that I was doing. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to open a hair salon in my own house. I'm going to take my clients with me. I'm going to reopen a dance studio because, that's always my fallback. And then I'll just do readings on the side. And so I did that. And as I did that, my hair clients became less. I started to realize I wanted to transition again out of the dance studio. And my readings were so busy. And, I've never done any advertising with the exception of Facebook. And even then, it was only when I was traveling that I would do, like I'm coming to your town, whatever. All of my clientele base was brought to me by word of mouth. And people would say to me, you've changed my life. Or I've never felt like I could breathe. And now I feel like I can breathe. You took the weight of the world off my shoulders. And I could hear Carol in my head saying to me, Kelly, you're going to change the world. And to some people, it's changing the whole world. And as much as I would love to change the whole world and stand on a stage, and maybe one day I will, and read an auditorium of 10,000 people, 15, 25,000 people, I believe one day I will get there. But to me, every day I change someone's world. And that is changing the world to me. So Carol has since passed. Bless her soul, rest her soul. And I listen to her and I hear her often in my head saying, you just keep pushing through, Cal, keep pushing through. And so as my journey continues on, Parker, sees clients come to the house and they're no longer doing hair, and mom's not teaching as much. And he's heard, me talk to my friends or whatever about what I do. And so I remember him being in kindergarten class, and his teacher said to him, what does your mom do? What do your parents do for a living? And he said, my mom talks to dead people. Well, shortly after that, I received an email from his teacher, and he came home from school that day, and he said to me, Mom, my teacher said that I lied. And I said, well, what did you lie about? And he said, well, they asked what my parents do for a living, and I said that you talk to dead people. And I said, well, that's not a lie. And he said, I know, but she doesn't believe me. And I said, Parker, not everybody believes in what we do because he is equally as gifted. Suppressing it right now, masking it a little bit. He is 12, preteen. Save my soul, seriously. But yeah, so I said, well, not everybody believes in what we do, but so long as we believe in what we do and we believe in who we are, that's where the change comes in. Okay, so off he goes. So in grade 1, every year in grade school, the teachers always say, what do your parents do for a living? I don't know. I feel like it's something they, out of curiosity maybe. Where do these kids come from? I don't know. And every year he would say, my mom talks to dead people. And at about grade 3 or 4, I said to him, Parker, just tell them that I'm either a spiritual healer or say that I'm a medium intuitive or I'm a medium. You don't always have to say mom talks to dead people. And so I always got questioned at parent-teacher interviews about who I was and what I did. And I have many people that are teachers and admin that are clients of mine. And I love it. I love it. And so as he started to explain it that way, they then could be more accepting of it. But he would always say, if they said, oh, well, or they would just, fluff it away or, whatever, he would always come home and say, you know what, Mom, I'm okay that you're a medium. And I was like, well, that's good because I'm okay that I'm a medium. And so we've gotten through that. There's times his friends' parents ask. For the most part, they're all accepting. As a single mom, sometimes they're like, well, can he come to our house and play? I have no issue with that. As a medium, it is not my job to convince you of what I do, to change your views on what I do. As a medium, my job, I believe, is to bring you peace, is to help with the healing process. I don't claim that I am any form of doctor or, I can't cure cancer. I wish I could because I would cure all of it. But unfortunately, that's not the gift I was given. So I take my gift and I bring people peace and I help you with the healing process. And I say to people that I'm a spiritual healer, but I bring you through that spiritual healing process with me as I'm healing the pain. And I allow you to see through the pain and then see the light at the end of the tunnel is kind of how that all works out. So now that my son is in junior high and, he's getting older and I've turned 40 and, we are who we are. And turning 40, I always said 40 was going to be my best year. And probably for the last 7 years, I have told people I'm almost 40. And this year I actually got to say, I'm 40. Some people think I'm crazy. And it has been the most incredible year of my life. And I'm very blessed and very honored to be where I'm at in my career, in my abilities to continue moving forward, my abilities to be able to travel and spread, messages and to be able to express and spread my gift. I'm also very, very blessed to have my son, Parker Keith. He's, like I say, preteen. Grade 7, junior high, makes me cry almost on a regular basis just because I don't want him to grow up quite yet. But the biggest thing for me is I watch this boy go to school. And it doesn't matter, like I say, if it's a friend of his or if it's a friend's parents or if it's a teacher or whatever, he's very proud to say that his mom talks to dead people. And sometimes he says that, I think, for shock value. And sometimes he knows his audience. So he says, my mom's a medium or she's a spiritual healer, or, what have you. And my son, looks at me and says, like, he's proud that I'm his mom, and he's, I'm thankful that he chose me and that I chose him. And this is a little boy who has struggled with bullying his whole life, school, career, preschool, etc. And this is a boy who can look in the mirror and say, I love who I am. And I believe that he can do that because at a very crucial time in his life, I accepted who I was. Now, it took me a long time. People would say, oh, what do you do for a living? And even Parker would say, before I'd say it out loud, that I was a medium or that I, communicate with spirit or what have you. Parker said it long before I did. I would always say, oh, I'm a dance teacher. I'm, a choreographer. I'm a hairstylist. Or I would say, I own multiple businesses. Which one are you asking about? And they would say, well, what do you do? And so I just rattle it off. And in there, I would say, oh, I'm a medium. I'm a hairstylist, I'm a dancer, I'm a medium, and would rattle off what I do. And about 18 months ago, I woke up January 1st, 2018. January 1st, I woke up and said, you know what? I'm done fighting. Done fighting this gift. I fight it. And, I still, every time I fight it, it just right in the face. This is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what you're supposed to be doing. And it wasn't that I would fight it. So I had embraced it and loved what I was doing and loved the feeling that I had and loved what I was giving people. The difference was on January 1st, 2018, I woke up and said, I am never, ever going to say that I am a dancer, that I'm a choreographer, or that I'm a hairstylist. I'm actually going to be proud to say that I am a medium, because that was my full-time job. And I just, anything on the side is what I would always use. And so I got out of teaching, and like I said, my hairstyling had slowed down quite a bit at that point. Didn't have very many clients. I'd kind of weaned myself out of that. And so I remember the first time someone said to me, and I had bumped into someone, and I believe I was at Costco. And now I get spirit everywhere I am. I just choose not to walk up to people or what have you. Out of choice, sometimes I don't have an option, but for the most part, I try and, make it so that I don't read in public. But I bumped into someone, and it was someone I hadn't seen in a really long time, and like since high school. And this person said to me, it was about January 3rd, I think, 2018. So what are you doing now? Where are you at? You still dancing? And I said, no, actually, I'm a medium. She said, you're a what? I said, I'm a medium. I'm a medium intuitive spiritual healer. She said, no. And I said, yeah, I am. And it was a really cool interaction after that moment. And in that moment, the moment that I had accepted me, my son had accepted me his whole entire life, was willing to put out there, this is what Mom did. He never told any of his teachers I taught dance. He never told any of his teachers that I cut hair. He always told his teachers, without even a question, without even a thought, that his mom was a medium. She talked to dead people. And the moment I said it, my life changed. Because I went, you know what? I am okay with me. And my business has since flourished, which I'm very blessed for, very thankful for. I've traveled, all over the place, spreading messages, sharing my gift with people. And I guess the biggest thing for me, and I'm going to cut this video a little bit short, only because I want you guys to stay interested and intrigued. The biggest thing for me is throughout this journey, I had to look myself in the mirror every day and say, are you okay with who you are? And there's times I get challenged, and there's times where I sit there and question, and is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And I'll get to more examples of that. I just had one actually this past summer, and it was a major change in my life where I thought maybe my run with this is done. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and I just said, if this is what I'm supposed to continue to do, I need you to take care of me. I need for, my big man upstairs to take care of me, because at that point I was unable to do readings, and I'll get to why later in a few different segments. But and he did. He took care of me, and he allowed me the time of grieving and the time of healing process this past summer. And God, he doesn't ever pressure me in my business. He's my boss. I always say he's my boss. But he took care of me, and I don't know how, and I never question it, but I don't know how. And that's, something as I walk through this journey with all of you, that I maybe will then find that answer. And maybe we can find it together. But yes, so I believe that I'm on the right path. I'm very much at peace in my life. I talked about Parker Keith today, and my gifted little boy, who's my earth angel. He came here to save my soul. I'm 1,000% sure of that. And he's done a brilliant job doing that. And, he's my buddy. And I'm very blessed to have family and friends and a tribe and people and supporters and clients that have become friends and, almost family that have supported me and believed in me, even in moments when I didn't believe in who I was. And, you know, I ask that you ask the questions you want to know. So this is just like I say a little blurb today about kind of how the moment I started to really believe in who I was, because I think it's so important that we just believe in who we are. And there's days where, I'm like, well, I should, lose 10 pounds, or I should do this, or maybe me being a medium is going to affect my son later on in life, or, me traveling as much as I do is going to affect him later on in life. And every day that boy hugs me and tells me he loves me and tells me to have a great day in the morning, and, he makes me coffee. And it's those moments where I go, no, I'm okay with what I'm doing. I'm a good mom. I'm a good person. I think, not to toot my own horn, I am a really good friend. I believe in building people up, and not just women, men too. I believe in encouraging people, and I believe in bringing peace to people's lives. And I believe in unconditional love, and that's a segment all on its own, and that's going to be a big one, because I have a lot of people that ask me about unconditional love. But anyways, I believe in myself, and I believe in who I am, and I believe in who I am as a healer, spiritually, and as a medium, and in the ability to be one of God's messengers. And I will explain the God's messengers thing again in a different segment. At this point, I'm going to close out by saying, if you heard nothing today, just believe in who you are and don't get in your head. I had someone tell me that I write like I speak, and that will be very difficult for people to read if they don't know me. And I'm hoping that by getting this out there on my YouTube channel and on Instagram and on Facebook, that people will get to know me and they'll hear my voice, so that, yes, one day I do have a hardcover book on a shelf that I can sign, because I think it's so important. But I got in my head, and then as I was doing, and I was thinking about this, I was like, well, can you do it that way? Like, is that, when I got in my head again, it's like, you know what? No, just do it. Accept it. Don't edit it. Nothing about this is going to be edited. God, maybe down the road I'll find some, I don't know, videographer that'll edit my stuff. But at this point, as long as I don't have boogers hanging out of my nose and I'm not drooling, I feel like I don't need to edit anything. This is raw, real, authentic Kelly. And today I accept the messy bun. Today I accept the hoodie because it's freezing cold outside in a blizzard. I'm that person. This is who I am. And I want you all to see who I am authentically. I could sit here and, make sure my hair's all done, my makeup's always done, and I got lipstick on. Right now I've got dry lips, and it's okay, because I'm okay with me, and my journey in this is to share with you true, authentic, raw Kelly. My journey is also, hopefully, through all of this, which was part of why I was writing books, was to help teach, help heal, if it's just one thing that I say. And I think, like I say, some days I look in the mirror and go, God, you need to lose 10 pounds. Some days I look in the mirror and think, wow, you're a hottie. Some days I look in the mirror and think, you know what? No one's perfect, but I'm okay with me. And my son taught me that. And I'm blessed, like I say, and I'm thankful every day. And I write in a gratitude journal, and I pray every day. And I prayed for peace for a long time when my son was young, because I was in a lot of turmoil when he was little, very little. And when he would say those things to his teachers and they didn't understand them, in my heart I knew it was him. He was also a messenger. And that was, our higher power, our maker, God, going through him to me to say, it's okay for you to just be you. And the second you realize that, life becomes much more peaceful. So like I say, if you hear nothing today about what I've said, please hear that it's okay for you just to be you. Be kind, be loving, smile. Smile at strangers. People don't speak to each other anymore. Say hi on the street. Even if someone looks at you like you are crazy or vivacious, which is the word I use for myself. Or, just change someone's day. It's not about purchasing something or buying something. Yeah, if you can afford to purchase the coffee for the person behind you in the Tim Hortons lineup, that's great. Always paying it forward is wonderful. But to look at someone in a grocery store and say hi to them or to smile at them, you don't know. None of us, we all have a story. We all are going through our own journey. And I feel that today's society is very judgy and very introverted, in the sense that we're very into our phones and our this and our that, which is, that society today. Unfortunately, we have to learn to accept that. As I sit here videoing on my telephone, I'm thankful for that. But I think to look at people in the eye and to say hi, we're missing that as a society. But we also, I believe, are squashed by doing that because the society is judgy. And so we don't want people to judge us because we're not accepting of who we are. So every day, just wake up and be thankful that, you're still here, and be thankful that you have another day to change your life, to change someone else's life. I think that's so important. And, not every day is going to be rainbows and butterflies. And not every day in my world is rainbows and butterflies. But every day in my world, I try to find a rainbow. And just have that moment of, this is why I'm here. And every day I get shown why I'm here. And some days it's all through lessons, and some days it's through rainbows and butterflies. But just be true to who you are. Speak your truth. Love yourself. And believe that you are worth incredible things. We have so much self-worth issues. We're all worth it. We all make mistakes. Our past does not determine our future. But if you have a soul and you're kind, be kind to yourself. You smile at someone in the grocery store, but when you get up in the morning, you're brushing your teeth, smile. Smile at yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and be thankful that you just don't know whose life you've changed. And that is I thank my son for that lesson, because he, for many years before I accepted me for just who I was. And now I'm so thankful because I believe in who I am and my self-worth, and, all of the wonderful things that I have, and all, not materialistically, but in regards to love and emotion and the gifts that I've been given, and to be one of God's messengers. And it was my son who taught me it's okay for me to love me. So, because he loved me. It didn't matter that I talked to dead people. He loved me for that. And he didn't care what the teachers thought. And so that is how I'm going to close today in regards to My Mom Talks to Dead People and this segment. Please, if you have any questions for me, throw me a message, Instagram me, throw me a private message on Facebook. If you have my email or my cell phone, text me, email me. I'd love to answer questions. Tomorrow I'm going to do more. I'll chat a little bit, but tomorrow I'd like to answer some questions. So ask me anything. I'm an open book for the most part. I'm an open book. So yeah, ask me anything. I promise you that I will get to what I was speaking about in regards to this past summer and being kind of learning that lesson of, is this what I'm actually supposed to be doing? I promise you I will go through my childhood and where this all kind of stemmed from and how I figured it out. I will get to all of those things. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about Parker Keith and how he taught me the lesson of unconditional love. And he also taught me the lesson of loving me unconditionally, and loving myself unconditionally. So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, it is my first one, no editing, office, the whole 9 yards. But I appreciate all of you joining in. I appreciate all of you watching and, following me and my new YouTube channel, which I'm super stoked about. The link is in my bio on Instagram. And I'm just going to keep doing this daily, and hopefully we make a run of it. And I really just, please know from every part of my soul, the center of my being, from my very core, I'm very thankful to all of you. I'm very blessed to have all of your support and your following, and just, let's gather together. Let's change this world as a whole together, not just about me. It's not my job. And I hope that you heard something or reflected or connected with something I said today, and just know that, again, I am very blessed and honored, and I'm really excited about this journey. So thanks again. Ask as many questions as you want. I promise I will do my best to answer every single one of them tomorrow. And yeah, let's blow this thing up. Let's share it. Let's get it out there. Okay, thanks guys. Have a blessed day.